Is faith a delusion? Many people would argue that faith in God is just like believing in Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, or for you Richard Dawkins fans, the flying spaghetti monster. This is actually a childish argument that's found itself in an adult discussion. It's amateurish and unconvincing. First of all, there's no serious empirical evidence that people regard God, Santa Claus, and the Tooth Fairy, or the flying spaghetti monster in the same category as God. Now, I stopped believing in Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy when I was about 7 years old. Alistair McGrath says that after being an atheist for some years, he discovered God when he was 18. Alistair noticed through researching his book, The Twilight of Atheism, a large number of people come to believe in God later in life, when they're grown up. And I've never met anybody who believes in Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy. Any serious person, that is. Now, many people could say Christianity is just wishful thinking. For a Christian, behind this subjective experience is an objective reality at its basis. This objective reality is the person of Jesus Christ and his resurrection. Say that we're in a classroom and a student comes into the classroom and says, "Guys, I have a tomato in my right tennis shoe. This tomato has changed my life. It has given me peace and love and joy, and I have never experienced this type of thing before." Not only that, but I can now run a 100-yard dash in 10 seconds flat. Now, it's hard to argue with a student like that if his life backs up what he says, especially if he runs circles around you on the track. A personal testimony is often subjective argument for the reality of something. Therefore, don't dismiss a subjective argument as being irrelevant. There are two questions or tests I would apply to a subjective experience. First, what is the objective reality for the subjective experience? Second, how many people have had the same subjective experience from being related to the objective reality? Let's apply this to our fellow student with the tomato in his right tennis shoe. To the first question, he would reply, "The tomato in my right tennis shoe." And to the second question, he would put it this way: how many people from this classroom, in this university, in this country, in this continent, etc., have experienced the same love, the same peace, the same joy, and increasing track speed as the result of the tomato in his right shoe? It's obvious that the answer to the second question was an obvious no. How would a Christian react to these two questions? Now, first question, what is the subjective reality or basis for my subjective experience, aka a changed life? Answer, the person of Jesus Christ and his resurrection. Question number 2, how many other people have had the same subjective experience from being related to the objective reality, Jesus Christ? The evidence is overwhelming. Truly, millions of people from all backgrounds, nationalities, and professions have seen their lives elevated to new levels of peace and joy by turning their lives over to Jesus Christ. Indeed, the profession from the 1st century AD down to the present, Jesus has radically changed the lives of millions of people and individuals from all walks of life.